What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Merab feels bad for ruining Sean O'Malley's career. Before Merab Dvalishvili and Sugar Sean O'Malley were ever booked to fight one another, the Machine famously stole O'Malley's jacket. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. Now, ahead of the Dvalishvili-O'Malley 2 fight this summer, the champion revealed that he feels bad for how things have played out between the two because the way he sees things, he took everything from O'Malley, from his jacket to his fans and of course, his belt. During Tuesday's episode of the Ariel Helwani show, he spoke about the fight and his competitive rivalry with the former champ. I always liked the guy. I don't follow many 135ers on Instagram and I follow him and he's funny. He's cute and he's a good fighter too. I have only positive feelings other than he was talking stupid about Aljamain Sterling. I actually feel bad for O'Malley. I stole his jacket, I stole his belt, I stole his fans and made him humble. He's definitely a different guy now, and that's good. While the champion has used his wrestling to break opponents inside the octagon, heading into UFC 316, he's eager to showcase his striking in the rematch. I'm going to take some risks, and I'm going to show my striking too. That's what I'm thinking right now. Sometimes I'm a little crazy, so in some fights, I'm going to show my craziness. The champ also weighed in on the criticism O'Malley has faced for getting an immediate rematch, saying that he actually thinks Sugar Sean deserves a title fight, despite the way their previous fight played out. Even though a lot of people criticize O'Malley getting the rematch, I think he deserved it. He made lots of excuses after the fight, and I know he'll make adjustments, and he'll change the game plan. It's going to be a totally different fight. I know he will attack me from the beginning with the body kicks and striking. I want to test my striking too. While the champion thinks this time around he'll be in for a totally different fight, fans seem to think that the results will stay the same. According to the latest betting odds, Dvalishvili's a pretty heavy betting favorite. Thieves stole more items from Henry Cejudo. After ending up on the news earlier in the week when a car crashed through his neighbor's house, Henry Cejudo's studio has reportedly been burglarized. Earlier in the week, after a car drove through his neighbor's house, Cejudo was on the news where he joked about taking the guy down and slapping him around. Now, however, it's Triple C who's the victim. News broke on Tuesday afternoon revealing that one of Cejudo's UFC belts was stolen in the robbery. Additionally, Triple C's video producer Dylan Rush releasing a statement about the situation, revealing that he was actually sleeping on the couch at the studio when the robbery happened. Someone broke into Henry's studio last night at 4:45 a.m. and stole his first UFC belt while I was sleeping on the couch. I woke up and watched the guy stand there for 2 minutes thinking it was Henry because it was dark. Then I heard a crash, the shelf fell, and the dude ran out. Later in the day, Rush posted a video on his Instagram, revealing that plenty of other items were stolen from the studio as well.
I was so focused on the belt, I only just realized that they stole my camera bag with my camera, Henry's camera, my laptop, my hard drive, so everything I've ever filmed is gone. All my videos are gone. My SD cards, my microphones, my wallet, everything's gone. Sucks. I want to give up, but I won't. It's terrible. And all these people making jokes that I'm the one, the producer was in on it. It's ridiculous. But obviously I don't give a about any of that. Thanks you guys for the support. This sucks.
So far, no arrests have been made. Huge UFC fight gets shut down. This week, reports emerged indicating that decorated wrestler Aaron Pico had signed with the UFC. Pico, who's put together a 13-4 record under the Bellator-turned-PFL banner, has widely been considered one of the best prospects outside the UFC, and given his grappling pedigree, the news that he signed with the UFC spread like wildfire. Along with the news, a report emerged from Red Corner MMA, suggesting Movsar Evloev would welcome Pico to the octagon next month. However, the outlet then retracted the report, writing, "The fight between Movsar Evloev and Aaron Pico, originally scheduled for UFC Vegas 106 on May 17, has been cancelled. According to sources, the UFC decided to postpone the bout to a later unspecified date. As a result, Evloev's team and management have chosen to wait for the outcome of the upcoming title fight between Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopes at UFC 314 this weekend before deciding on his next opponent." Ariel Helwani weighed in on the situation on Tuesday's episode of the Ariel Helwani show, apologizing to fans for not doing due diligence on the report.
Now we're starting to get reports that this Movsar Evloev versus Aaron Pico fight was never true. And you know what? Shame on me. In my old age, you start to check less. You start to trust people. Like there's too many of these outlets out there not doing their due diligence. And so apparently it was wrong. I don't know. shame on us for even bringing it up. I actually apologize to the audience. I should have done my due diligence, but it's just such a thing to check and this and that. But no, that's being lazy. So shame on me for that. And apparently they're going to wait for the title shot, which makes a hell of a lot more sense. Movsar Evloev should not be fighting Aaron Pico in his debut. Pico shouldn't fight Movsar, and Movsar definitely shouldn't be fighting Pico in his debut. Movsar should be next for the title fight. He should be fighting the winner of this fight on Saturday.
While there's no telling when Pico will make his UFC debut, as Brett Okamoto confirmed on Tuesday, Pico has in fact signed with the UFC, according to his manager Ali Abdelaziz. Aaron Pico reacted to signing with the UFC on Instagram by writing, "After years of hard work, dedication, and unwavering belief, I've officially signed with the UFC. This is more than just a dream come true, it's the beginning of a new chapter. The ultimate goal, to become the UFC champion. I'm ready to work harder than ever before to make that a reality." He later revealed in an interview with Mike Bond from MMA Junkie that the Movsar Evloev fight was on the table. Here's what he had to say. "It was real. I got a phone call from Ali saying, 'Hey, can you fight April 17th? I said, of course. Then I just said, 'Who am I fighting?' And he said Movsar. It was pretty close. I was a little bit surprised, but ultimately it's not happening." As for his fight in the UFC, Pico names both Aljamain Sterling and Brian Ortega as potential opponents. What are your thoughts on the UFC signing Aaron Pico? Let us know down in the comment section below. Islam Makhachev needs to fight Ilia Topuria next? Since his short notice win over Renato Moicano, there's been no word on Islam Makhachev's next fight, although reports have suggested that the champion could be waiting to see how things play out in the Belal Muhammad-Jack Della Maddalena fight. However, Ali Abdelaziz shot that report down, calling it fake news. The way Merab Dvalishvili sees things, Makhachev has a worthy challenger in front of him in Ilia Topuria. During his appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, he called on the champion to defend the title against a fighter formerly known as El Matador, referencing comments Makhachev made about him accepting a fight with Umar Nurmagomedov. Ilia has to fight Islam Makhachev, especially because he vacated his title. He's the best deserving contender for 155 pounds, but somehow Islam ignoring him. Islam told me at the press conference, "Merab, I respect you, but when you have a top contender, you should fight him." And I said, okay. Now he has a top contender as Ilia Topuria, but he's not fighting him. Nobody criticized Islam like they criticized me. With plenty of options on the table for Makhachev, Ilia Topuria's team is trying to remain optimistic about a potential matchup between the two. During an appearance on Submission Radio, Topuria's coach Jorge Clement said that he'd be sad if the fight never happens. "I prayed to do this fight. It's a big fight. I don't know what Islam's plan is and what he really wants. I'm going to be sad if this fight doesn't happen because I think it's a good fight for Ilia." If the champion is not waiting for the Muhammad JDM fight to play out to plan his next move, it may be only a matter of time before the UFC announces his next fight. Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopes' insane body transformation ahead of UFC 314. With fight week underway for their featherweight title fight, Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopes are in the midst of the final stages of their respective weight cuts. With both guys shedding weight en route to the championship weight of 145, the two are both looking absolutely shredded in new fight week photos. The MMA community was quick to weigh in, with one fan writing, "Volk's showing up with ab veins, Lopes you're cooked." And others questioned whether Volk was clean, despite the former champion never failing a test throughout his career. On that Michael Chandler stack. One fan agreed, adding, "Roided up again, clearly." Some disagreed, however, a little too lean I think. As one fan theorized, "My opinion is Volk was strength and conditioning training and Diego was training to fight. Time will tell." Despite back-to-back losses, Volk believes that he's going to silence the critics and reclaim UFC gold this weekend. In an interview with ESPN this week, he explained, "I had the time off and it's easy to say he's done. But I'm in the gym knowing I'm not done, and so is my training partners. Again, I can just show everyone and remind them this weekend, and that's the beauty of it. People will forget, and that's why we love this game, right? People can be quickly reminded as well. And that's exactly what's going to happen this weekend." With just days to go until the former champion is back inside the octagon, the UFC's unveiled Volk's custom trunks, which honor both his Greek and his Macedonian heritage. When comparing them to other custom shorts the UFC has done, where do you think they rank? Michael Bisping defends Michael Chandler for cheating. While Michael Chandler's earned a reputation for being one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC, he's also earned plenty of criticism for breaking rules inside the octagon. From fish-hooking Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira to grabbing the fence and repeatedly hitting his opponents in the back of the head, Chandler's been guilty of a number of infractions. However, the way Michael Bisping sees things, he's not a cheater. During a recent video for his YouTube channel, Bisping weighed in on the controversy that seemed to follow Chandler from fight to fight. First of all, I don't see a cheater when I look at Michael Chandler. I see a fighter that gives us exactly why we tune into the UFC. It's fighters like Michael Chandler who have made this sport so great in the first place. He goes out there and fights his goddamn hearts out. So when it comes to the cheating side of things, these rules they have in place, that's all well and good. If you're sitting on the sidelines, you're the referee, or you're the judge, or a commentator, or a spectator sitting at home, you can remember the rules. But when you're the one sitting in there on your back, you have a world-class opponent on top of you, dropping elbows on your face, getting you in a thigh clinch, just ramming knees into your mouth and smashing your nose to pieces, okay? Sometimes you're not thinking about the rules. Sometimes at that moment, you're thinking about survival. While Bisping defended Chandler, he also got brutally honest with the former Bellator champ, saying that with a record of just 2-5 inside the octagon, it's time for him to either put up or shut up. Roman Dolidze fires back at Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker might not have any interest in fighting Roman Dolidze, but from the sounds of things, the former champions found himself in the midst of a back and forth with the number 8 ranked middleweight. On the heels of Dolidze's win over Marvin Vettori, Whittaker stated on his podcast that on top of having no desire to fight down in the rankings, he didn't even make it through all 5 rounds of Dolidze Vettori and turned the fight off after a round and a half. During an interview with MMA Fighting this week, Dolidze fired back, taking aim at Whittaker while referencing his recent loss to Khamzat Chimaev. It's funny, it's very childish, how somebody who lost Chimaev, who tapped so easy and didn't show the heart of a fighter can speak such things like he said after losing like that. It doesn't make sense. You need to prove different to speak like that. I can't take his words serious. It's very childish for me. If he doesn't want to fight, say he doesn't want to fight. But to find so many excuses of why he doesn't want to fight me, just calm down, boy, and do whatever you want. If he doesn't want it, no problem. So far, no word yet on who either fighter will compete against next. However, after his latest win, Dolidze wants to take a step up in competition and fight someone like Whittaker or Israel Adesanya. On the flip side, Whittaker, who's ranked 5th at 185, is looking to fight up in the rankings and has notably called out Sean Strickland. MMA Community goes off on Dana White for current state of the UFC. Speculation is rising on social media about the current state of the UFC. Boxing Kingdom posted on Twitter saying, "The UFC seems to be in decline, pay-per-view sales have plummeted, no major new stars have been created, MMA fans seem upset with recent and future cards. Is now the right time for Dana White to leave the UFC, or should he delay his move into boxing?" The MMA community reacted to his comments, with the majority of people saying the UFC is in a decline, but some seem to disagree. Don't watch Dana White every single year for the last 15 years. People have definitely taken this advice. The sport is too watered down now. I fought for 15 years. I used to watch every UFC card. I haven't watched a card since Jones-Stipe. Pay-per-views used to be 3 fights with known fighters, and the other 2 were usually good matchups. Now it's a headliner and 4 fights of people I've never heard of. How to reverse this climb? Dana stop being a massive cheapskate baldy and pay fighters more. He could literally double the win bonus of every fighter on the 10-10 contract and there would be no difference to TKO's finances. No more Apex slop cards, no ESPN deal. Close the Apex, stop booking uninteresting fight night main events, sign better heavyweights, close the Apex, improve scouting and stop just signing anyone, make it special to be in the UFC again. Stop letting fighters hold up divisions, better pay-per-view cards, close the Apex. I can't be the only one who thinks Dana needs to go. I'm tired of seeing dumb influencers near this sport, and they should have gotten rid of the Apex in 2022. Honestly, I've been a fan for many years, but I haven't watched in months. It got boring. No new stars, and when stars do fight, they make the rest of the card terrible. What happens when you pay fighters a pittance and they end up having to fix fights, taking out the sporting competition element out of it? Some people in the community gave backlash to this claim, saying that the UFC is actually at its peak right now and their new deal will be the most lucrative yet. Here's what they had to say. UFC are not on the decline. They just signed an $800 million TV deal with ESPN. The last one was $350 million. They're going to be on Netflix too. For context, Eddie has boxing's biggest TV deal at $100 to $150 million. That said, I suspect Dana will be more focused on boxing, a new challenge. I heard the UFC's since it began, and through it, the UFC slowly but surely became legalized in every sport. Went from 4 events per year to 1 per week and growing. Went from a $40 million deficit to selling for $4 billion, and the biggest booms, India, Africa, China, are yet to come. That's not the way to analyze the UFC. They'll probably do a media rights deal this year. That's going to be at least 3 times the amount of the last deal. Have no problem selling out either. The reason they don't care for pay-per-view anymore is because they get guaranteed money from ESPN regardless. What are your thoughts on everything? Let us know down in the comment section below.